Hey guys, welcome to the Challenge Podcast. I'm Coach Steve.
And I'm Coach Nick, and we're going to be talking about everything fitness, health, and the challenge.
Let's get on with the show.
What's up guys, Coach Steve here and welcome back to another episode of the Challenge Weekly Show. Today we're joined with our co-host, Coach Nick. Nick, how are we doing today?
I'm really good, thanks Coach Steve. How are you?
I'm good, but Nick's not about me. Nick, it's about you. Before we start the podcast, tell me, how was your competition on the weekend?
Oh my gosh, well, I had not been around that many people for a long time. Although I did go to the Billie Eilish concert as well, so it was similar vibes. Apparently, it was one of the biggest natural bodybuilding shows that has happened for a long time, which is great. It's great for us to know that bodybuilding is still alive, natural. But in terms of, look, I had a ball. I didn't win or anything like that. I didn't come last either. So that's also good. I am going to do it again. I got to enjoy my experience. It was insane. I'm definitely not as muscular as I think I am. There are some people that are like some women that are insane, and I just don't believe that I'll ever probably be able to be that insane. But that said, Coach Steve, I'm probably the happiest that I've ever been with my physique, that like in terms of all of this. So building that muscle was really worth it. I did get a little trophy, but I left it upstairs. I'll bring it into work tomorrow and we'll take a photo of it. So yeah, so that's nice. And yeah, it was a really good day. And what else? Any questions?
How so you're saying it's a really big event? Like how big are we talking?
Seriously, like 800 competitors.
Yeah, wow.
Yeah,
okay,
not in my division, but
yeah, okay.
Yeah. And I tried a new division, which is called wellness, because you're meant to have like a muscular lower body and less muscular upper body. But the thing is, I actually now think perhaps I have a bit more symmetry than what I thought. And also I certainly don't have huge thumping quads.
Mm-hmm.
Not like you. You could do wellness.
I reckon I could rock the bikini in wellness.
But I'm just telling you right about now that like it's an awesome division. It hails from Brazil, so you can imagine what you're meant to look like. And I'm probably just not quite. I probably won't ever quite be there because I think I've kind of reached my potential with my growth, maybe. But you know, never say never. I'll go back to the drawing board, and I just like the idea of it. So I'll be in there, but I didn't come last. So I didn't at all. So like that was good. I expected to. When I saw the people, I was like, goodness. And yeah, there's definitely some refinements that can be made. But look, it's all a bit of fun.
Mm-hmm.
Just like any kind of competition, and you have to go into it, you know, not taking it all too seriously. Well, I do anyway, because you know, I've got other responsibilities as well and other things. But look, it was fun. But I'm actually quite happy and excited to when I can actually eat more and lift more again, which isn't quite yet.
Yeah, no, look, big congratulations on making it to the event, having watched how much effort you put into prepare for the competition. You know, it's well deserved, and I'm glad that you enjoyed the experience. I do think it's definitely humbling when you are surrounded by other competitors in a similar category, and it can definitely highlight your weaknesses, right? In the nicest way, highlight your weaknesses. And an example is I have a patient or client of mine that I treat in my osteo clinic, and he competed last weekend at the IFBB. He's a big boy, big boy. And you know, one of the first conversations we had was about his you know, enhancements, I would say, right? So you know, he's definitely you know, someone who is an enhanced athlete. You know, he's on lots of different stacks. He's a big fellow. Anyway, up on stage, looking at some of his photos, he looks like small, and I don't have big ears, right? And you know, on stage, you know, he's next to people who are his size, and they all kind of look almost like similar, and they're like, oh yeah, that guy's not that big, they all look about the same. But then me standing next to him, like, you know, he towers over me. He's like, oh, that's a big boy, right? So the point I'm making is that sometimes when you are in a competition with like-minded individuals, very similar to this stage of the challenge, Nick, where we are in our voting stage, we're seeing some amazing transformations come through on social medias and through our app. It can be both a humbling experience and an exciting experience to be put next to other individuals who are similar to you and going, wow, you know, I thought I was doing so well in my garage by myself, but then now I'm next to someone else who's similar to me. Look at these photos. You know, my transformation might not be as, you know, super dramatic. So all these other transformations are dramatic, and it can highlight where we can improve and give us that motivation. So for some of us with that type of personality, when we see you know, those types of situations, we go, yeah, I'm going to work harder because I can see what the caliber is like. I can see what other people are doing, and I want to do better. So I hope that you're in a similar position, Nick. And you know, you said that there's another comp in a couple of weeks. Is that right?
Yes. I've got another 2 comps. So that'll be good. Yeah. I'm really happy with the conditioning that I have brought. So that makes me happy. Like, over anything else, I don't even mind about anything else, because like, to be able to bring good conditioning for me and still appear muscular is enough. But yeah, so there's another couple to go, and that will be fun. And then it's time to just chill out.
Time to just chill out. No, so good.
I'd like to chill out. Yeah, because it's an unchilled sport.
Yeah, it's definitely all encompassing, right?
Oh, absolutely. But that's like, we love that, don't we? And you know, I actually was saying to Shane about how it's really good material for me as a coach as well, to put myself through this sort of stuff, because it means, you know, like you do it too with your powerlifting and just, you know, being a dad and training and stuff. You realize, you know, what challenges we'll be going through, and you know, you stretch yourself in the same way that our challenges stretch themselves. You know, like for us, it might be a different sort of stretch, but it might be like, oh, I'm going to feel uncomfortable doing this, but I'm going to do it. So then we can take it back to the people. Yeah, we can take it back to our people and say, look, I've just done this, and you know, this made me feel like this, and it was uncomfortable, and I didn't want to do that, but I did it, and that was scary, but I got through that bit. So I think, like, to evolve as a person, you've always got to test yourself. And if it means that you go on a bodybuilding stage and test yourself, if that's where you're at, then do that. You know, it's not exclusive to anyone. There were all shapes and sizes there. People were asking, you know, is there cellulite? There was cellulite. That's what the fake tan's for. You know, there was an array of all sorts of amazing bodies and amazing reasons as to why they were doing it. So nobody's better than anybody else in this field. Everybody's just trying their best.
No, so good. Well, countdown's on for the next one for you, and then the countdown's on again for Ironman, which isn't too far away, right, Nick?
That is sounding like a real treat right now. I'm like, because you don't have to wait for hair and makeup. You can, you know, you can get dirty, you can go in the beach, you can, you know, that kind of thing. You're just running. It's you versus you. It's a completely different feeling, and I think it'll be extremely refreshing.
No, so good. Nick, look,
Thanks.
this week in the challenge is exciting. It's always exciting, Nick, because we have just concluded the July challenge. The challenge officially ended just a couple of days ago, depending on when you're listening to this podcast. And we are at that stage where challengers are posting their results, posting their transformations. And every challenge I've done, when we get to this stage of the challenge, is always inspiring for me, because I see the work, the effort that people have put in over the past 12 weeks and soon to be over the next 6 weeks, the effort that you put in and the transformations that you're able to achieve. So firstly, I just want to say big congratulations to everyone who posted their photos online for us to see. You know, there's many of us who are just doing our own thing, maybe doing the challenge privately, where we are just keeping to ourselves, or maybe got to week 8 or 9 and said, oh, I don't really want to be part of the competition, and didn't upload your final photos, no dramas, it's fine. But it's amazing to see these great transformations coming through. Now, you have up until Tuesday, when this podcast is released, to upload your final photo, and public voting is actually open right now, okay? And up until this Sunday, so Sunday the 9th, you'll have a chance to vote in the public voting. Now, the way it works is you'll get 5 votes for male, 5 votes for female. Once you've selected all your votes, all 10 votes, then you're able to submit the votes, and then what will happen is we can tally all the votes, and we provide a winner. The People's Choice Award goes to the person with the most votes that are outside of the top 10. So we just like to share our votes around. Often we have the person with the most votes is also very close to being in the top 10 or winning the challenge. So, just to share some of the prizes around, we give our People's Choice vote to the person with the most votes outside of the top 10. Now, we'll find out who is our People's champion, and who is in our top 10, and who is in our top 3, and who are the winners of the very first M Challenge on the awards night. The awards night, which will be on Friday, the 14th of October, and that's going to be live streamed to our Facebook social hub. So if you haven't already, join our Facebook social hub, and you can watch the live stream, and you can find out who is the winner at the same time as everybody else on Friday, the 14th of October, and it's kicking off at 7:30 Melbourne time. Now, Melbourne just went through like a daylight savings spring forward, where we moved time ahead, so we might be ahead of you. So just double check what time that is Melbourne time if you would want to watch that live, kicking off at 7:30 p.m. Melbourne time. Nick, once the award night is concluded on the Friday the 14th, we have the weekend, and then prep week starts for the next challenge. So not much of a break. We are going from awards night the 14th of October, prep week starting on the 17th of October for the October challenge. Now, that October challenge kicks off officially on the 24th of October, prep week giving you time to access your training plan, your nutrition plan, play around with the app, all that good stuff, okay? 24th of October, M6 begins, 6-week challenge, which will be wrapping up just before Christmas time, which is awesome. Now,
perfect.
Nick, we are excited to announce that we have 2 new training programs that will be added to our growing list of training programs. We currently have 10 different training programs, and we're adding 2 new training programs. So we're going to have 12 different training programs to choose from, okay? Now,
Sweet.
The names of these programs, we have first the Dad Bod Destroyer, and second the Busy Mum program. Dad Bod Destroyer, Busy Mum program. Nick, in a super summary here, the Dad Bod Destroyer, not only made for dads out there, it can be made for mums, new parents, people out there, okay? Dad Bod Destroyer, the design is that it's a 30-minute workout 4 times a week using like a home gym setup. So you would need some a barbell, some dumbbells, maybe a squat rack, a chin-up bar, those types of good things, okay? This program was actually inspired through my own lifestyle at the moment, where my current training, where I'm training for maybe an hour or maybe a little bit more than an hour, it's just becoming a little bit tough with baby life. It's going to be even tougher when my second son arrives in November. So for me, I was writing a program where I could make it as short as possible, about 30 minutes in duration, 4 times a week using my home gym. Lo and behold, Dad Bod Destroyer. So if you are a busy parent out there, you might have a home gym but struggling to make time to train, this program is for you. Now, in contrast, we have the Busy Mum program, which again, not linked just to females only or mums. It could be the Busy Dad program or the Busy Parent or Busy Person, Busy Human program. And this program requires just a set of dumbbells. You could do it at home. Dumbbells, maybe a few bodyweight exercises in there as well. And they're, again, 30-minute workouts. So if you are maybe a busy parent and you could only find time when your kids are having a nap or something like that, this is the program for you. 30 minutes from start to finish. And all you need is a set of dumbbells. So 2 new training programs, both express style programs, 30 minutes in duration, requiring minimal equipment. So Nick, lots and lots and lots and lots and lots of options when it comes to training in the M Challenge.
Yeah, I love those 2 new programs. I think had I have had those available to me when I was younger and had my kids small, I would have loved it. So I'm hoping people really get a lot out of those.
Yeah, yeah. And I think it's not just limited to like, kids, infants, toddlers, that type of idea. If you just have kids and you're struggling to find time, you've got you're a busy parent, you work 9 to 5, you come home, you got your dinner ready, you got to take kids to basketball practice, pick them up from school, all the things that you do as a parent. And you're really struggling to make that time, maybe that half an hour is what you do at 9 o'clock before you go to bed because you're wrapping up from a busy day. You got that half an hour instead of driving to the gym and training. Okay, you've got the lounge room, the kids are off watching a movie or in their wherever they are, whatever kids do these days. That might be the time that you go and train. So yeah, look, we design these programs so that it is as easy as it can be to train, to find time to exercise and train in your day.
Yes, exciting.
Nick, let's move on to our next segment here. We have our community highlight, where we would like to highlight some members of our community. But first, I just want to say, again, a big congratulations to everybody who is posting their transformations onto our places like social media, Instagram, Facebook, onto our M Challenge app. And not only those individuals posting, but then those individuals that are also providing positive words of encouragement to those individuals who are putting themselves out there. We have a very large online community, almost 10,000 members. And there might be a couple of hundred people who are uploading their transformation photos. There's probably another couple of hundred people who are commenting and liking those things. And there's probably a couple of thousand of people who are, watching those transformations. So, big thank you to everyone who is posting their transformations, and also another big thank you to everyone who is being supportive and encouraging of those transformations.
Thank you so much, everybody. Amazing.
Now, Nick, take us away. Who would you like to highlight this week?
All right. So we're starting with Anita Kelly. So she's done a throwback Thursday, and she has a photo. She says, "My photo is from a time where I overtrained and underate. I connected my self-worth to how skinny I looked, but never got the definition I was chasing because I wasn't eating. So now I know calories are necessary. I'm not scared of carbs anymore. It's been a long learning journey that I'm still traveling, but thankful that it finally got through to me." So that's amazing. That's game changing, isn't it?
Yeah, it's a big revelation. Congratulations, Anita.
Yeah, to absolutely accept and embrace a whole family of a macronutrient. It's pretty exciting, because there's going to be a whole bunch more stuff that she can eat and do. So well done, Anita. Love it. And I hope everybody's listening to that, because there's heaps of people out there that are still yet to make that kind of leap. So hit Anita up. Well, not in her messages or anything, but on her posts, and find out a bit more. Okay, so next one we've got another Anita Bertolini. So she says, "I saw a friend yesterday that I haven't seen since I started the challenge. She didn't know I was doing it, and she said, 'Oh my friggin' God,' that's quote unquote, 'you look so amazing.' Now, anyone that knows me knows that I don't deal well with compliments, and especially loud ones like that. I tend to shy away or move on to something else. But Coach Nick, after listening to the podcast on Tuesday, I took a deep breath and said, 'Thank you so much. I've been working really hard.' Her response was beautiful, and she'll be doing the challenge in January. 12 weeks seems like a long time, but the changes came so quickly. I'm happy that happened. So that's good. Well done."
Yeah, no, so good. And I know Anita will be listening to this. Look, big congratulations on the effort you've put in. Your transformations or your photos are, amazing. So you should be proud of the effort that you've put in, and, keep it up, keep going, making fitness a priority in your life, and, being the genesis of the next fitness journey for another person like you have with your friend is inspiring as well. So, keep it up, Anita.
Yeah, and the more you accept compliments, I think, and just, I think sometimes it's important to understand that it's kind of insulting to the person that gives you the compliment if you just go, "No, it isn't," because it's like you're dismissing them and disagreeing with them. So you can kind of think of it like that as well, especially if you're a people pleaser. You'll be able to go, "Oh, hang on a minute, I don't want to upset anyone, so I'll say thank you for this compliment," and move on. Okay, the next one is Holly Evelyn. This challenge has had its ups and downs, but honestly, so stoked to say that I have made some small changes that I will continue to implement every day. Who would have thought I would now enjoy running 4 times a week and hitting a daily average of 15,000 steps? One huge victory is not letting this travel and inconsistent lifestyle get the better of my nutrition and what I put into my body. Who else has made some awesome changes, even if they're not just physical? So that's a good one.
Yeah, no, that's awesome, Holly. I love that, especially highlighting the idea of making the change and then the physical side of it comes after, right? You make that behavioral change, the lifestyle change, the environmental change, and then the physical results come after. So I think highlighting the changes first is really powerful. So thanks, Holly.
Yeah, definitely. And also finding your own groove with fitness. If you love running, that's excellent. That's good that you've found that. And yeah, each person's different in what they love. So never ever follow the crowd. Just do what you want to do.
No, so good. Nick, I want to highlight a few people this week. So the first one goes to Maddie Waller. Maddie writes, officially 16 kilos lighter thanks to the first M challenge. Wow, 16 kilos.
Wow.
I was only 7 weeks postpartum after baby number 3 when I started this journey, and I'm now only 10 kilos away from my goal weight. I've learned a lot this last 12 weeks and have adapted a new mantra: progress, not perfection. Thanks for all the support and encouragement over the past 12 weeks. It's been amazing. Oh gosh, I love that mantra. Progress or progress? Progress or progress?
Oh, either.
Either or. Yeah, okay. Progress, not perfection. Progress, not anyway. It's all about progress. And, even thinking about that, it doesn't need to be perfect, doesn't need to have perfection. How you say progress, it doesn't matter. It's all about making the steps, being part of that journey, making the progress. And I think we all kind of get shackled. We all get kind of pigeonholed when we're trying to be perfect with everything, right? If I was perfect with my approach to training and my approach to nutrition and my lifestyle, if I didn't do anything until it was perfect, I would do nothing. Right. And I think that's like with everything, imagine everything we do individually throughout the day, our work, our hobbies, our lifestyles, heck, what you ate for breakfast, what you're going to eat for lunch, what you ate for dinner, like how you got up this morning. Like, we are never perfect. We never have perfection, but we make progress towards improvements. And I think Maddie's really highlighted that, along with 16 kilos and baby number 3 little ones running around, 7 weeks postpartum, lots of things going on. Congratulations, Maddie. That's huge.
Yeah, I love it. And also, yeah, the thing is, if we're always chasing this idea of perfection, we'll never do anything, because there's never a perfect time to start. It's never going to be perfect while you're doing it. What is perfect anyway? So I love it. Perfect. Well, perfect.
So good.
Yeah.
Nick, next one here I want to highlight is a Beck Bates, and Beck writes, I can't believe 12 weeks is done. It went so fast and slow at the same time. I've lost 4.2 kilos and I'm feeling great. Thank you, M Challenge, for supplying literally everything I needed to succeed. I just added some discipline and here we are. I love this, Beck. It's of course a little bit of a compliment towards us, where we hope that you engage in some of the content in the app and maybe listen to this podcast, and continue to develop yourself. And the only part you need to add in is, like you said, a bit of discipline. So Beck, big congratulations to you losing 4.2 kilos. And I think you're right, where the challenge does feel fast, but then also at times it can be slow. So it is an interesting juxtaposition between the feeling fast, feeling slow at the same time.
Absolutely. I think it's just so important to understand that we are here to provide you with as many tools as we can, and then it's up to you to use those tools in whatever way works for you. We can teach you to fish, and then you've got to go off and fish, and that's what's happened here. So good on you.
No, so good.
Legend.
Nick, the last one here is Katie Louise, and Katie writes, certainly not my best challenge, but super happy to see some changes. Looking forward to the 6-week one to try and drop some body fat and grow those muscles. Congratulations to everyone who completed the challenge. It's called a challenge for a reason. I like this, and I think it was just that last sentence where it's called a challenge for a reason. And yeah, you know, the challenge can mean lots of things, and each one of us will face our own unique challenges within the challenge, right? For some of us, the challenge is, you know, getting up in the morning to go to the gym. For others, the challenge might be to try to eat more vegetables, or drink some more water, or try to get more steps in. Or for others, the challenge might be, you know, how do I improve my squat technique so that I can squat an extra, you know, 5% over the next 12 weeks. Each one of us will have our own unique challenges, and I think that's what's beautiful about it. So, you know, there's no right or wrong, and at times there are some individuals who would reject the challenge. You know, oh, the nutrition plan's too hard, or the training program's too hard. And again, I think it's in the name. You know, it's meant to be a challenge, it's meant to be difficult, it's meant to be, you know, a change in the system, and sometimes change is challenging. So like Katie says, a big congratulations to everyone who's completed the challenge. And you know, it's amazing. Katie is really being honest here, saying like, it's not my best challenge for whatever reason, but she's happy to see those changes, which is awesome.
That's right. And look, if you stay in your comfort zone, even say with the nutrition, and you're like, my foods aren't on here, it's like, what drew you to the challenge in the first place? Did you want to change? Because if you're using the same things as you always do, and you want them to be provided for you, you'll probably get the same results as you always do. That's a harsh but true fact.
That's so good. Nick, let's move on to our next segment here. We have the Coach's Corner, where we offer our tip for the week. So Nick, take us away. What advice do you have for us?
Well, I think it's a timely one, because we're at the end of the challenge. So people might be a bit scared to lose their gains or their losses by just resting, especially when you first start out in fitness. Just say you're a brand new person to the gym or to training, and you think that if you take one single rest day, it's all going to be over for you. Now, there's two things with this. One is, I can relate in terms of sometimes if you take a little bit of time off, you feel like you might have lost your momentum. So that's a very different thing to what your body and mind might actually need. So to maintain the momentum, I would suggest still do something. So don't completely give up everything. But I would like to say that it's very, very important to have rest days, and even, you know, a couple of days. You don't have to constantly go. And then you'll find that your physique actually settles, and you can actually see a little bit more, especially like if you're quite lean, you see a little bit more definition. And that's why we sort of said, take your photos over stages, because your body relaxes a little bit, and that is actually really good. It's good for you. It helps with aches and pains. So if you ever find that you're a little bit achy or painy, it's actually good to have a few days off. You can like technically remove like excess lactate from your muscles. So stuff like that, where like if you don't ever give yourself a break, how are your muscles supposed to even change? You know, so they repair and rebuild muscle. I mean, this is all just the actual physical stuff. Replenish your muscle glycogen. And also the thing is, what's really important is it allows your mind to rest. Even that act of going to the gym, you know, if you're like me, I train at a gym that's a little bit further away than I probably would like. It's about sometimes a 30-minute drive if I go there, maybe even longer if it's in a weird time of day. So just to not have to worry about the stress of that as well, it's really good to just take some time off, take a deep breath, go for a walk, have a bath, read a book, do something different just for a couple of days, and the gym will still be there. I know that we say this a lot, and we said it even, you know, when we didn't have access to gyms and stuff like that. But I just want to let you guys know that it's okay to rest. You don't have to straight away even go into, you know, what do I have to do now? You can take a rest. So that's from training. From the diet as well, I wouldn't probably go ham, but you can certainly take a couple of days and find your maintenance and chill out there, you know, a couple of weeks, that kind of thing, until the next challenge, because your body will thank you for it. So as I'm sort of cycling in between peak weeks and other things that I'm doing, and I'm finding that on my higher days of food, I find that then I actually drop a little bit of weight the next day just because my body is, I think you said is it super compensating or something? Yeah. But I just reckon it's because I'm a bit more chilled. So like, I know that there's a thing, but you can explain that properly, because, you know, I just think all I do is go through it and go, well, wow, that's cool. Because it's not as if I'm in a surplus. I'm just sort of going back to my maintenance and allowing my body to not feel so stressed of being in a constant diet mode as well. So don't forget that obviously we have to diet. We have to continue dieting if we want to lose body fat. No doubt about it. This is not saying stop. This is just saying have a break. Allow your body to reset, and you'll find that you actually end up better, not worse.
You know, I like that a lot. And you're right. I think there is a lot of fear when we start losing weight that once we stop whatever we're doing, we're going to revert back. And, you know, it's a fair enough fear, because it can happen. You know, if you stop what you're doing right now for long enough, you will start to revert back to your previous habits, because, you know, we're human. And those previous habits bring along the, you know, lifestyle and then physique changes that come with those habits. So, you know, if you stop going to the gym for one day, that one day can turn into 1 week, can turn into 1 month. And then, you know, 6 months later, you're like, where did that go? And, you know, you look in the mirror and you're like, oh, geez, like that I see some changes. So I can see that there's a bit of fear, but there's always benefits from resting, because, you know, you take any physique that you see out there, you know, let them be a bodybuilder, a model, an athlete, whoever they are, like they are giving their body time to rest and recover, both physically and then mentally as well, because it is stressful to go through this training and dieting thing that we're doing.
Yeah, definitely. And I think you've got to allow yourself that, no matter where you are, you know, give yourself a break for a second. And you know, I'm going to put my nice coach's hat on and go, okay, give yourself a little bit of a break, your mind and your body, before you continue on. Unless you're feeling absolutely awesome and you don't feel like you need one. Look, this is where you need to auto-regulate. You need to, you know, listen to yourself and decide. But like, if your signs of it is sort of like, if you're being grumpy with people, if you're like, oh gosh, it's time for the gym again, I don't care about what numbers I'm getting, that sort of thing. Like, say today, I'm not going to train because I'm supposed to squat, but I'm not going to, because I'm just not, I don't want to have a barbell on my back at the moment. I feel a little bit weak, and I prefer to eat some food and have a bit of a rest and do it tomorrow morning or something like that, rather than today. And I love squatting. So I just have to listen to myself sometimes, because otherwise I'd tweak something. I know it.
Yeah. No, good advice, Nick.
Thank you.
Nick, I'd like to speak a little bit about expectations. And you know, you're kind of describing about the tail end of the July challenge, and I want to kind of give a little bit of advice for anybody out there who is getting ready for the October challenge. Okay.
Oh, nice.
And to consider expectations specifically for humans. Okay, so we're all humans here. We all live our own lives. And for many of us, we have lots of things going on. We have lots of inputs into our life. And we are often self-described as busy, right? Most of us working full time, most of us with family and social commitments, and most of us with other things that are demanding our attention. Okay, not only living things like kids and pets, but then, you know, digital things. You know, the digital world is constantly demanding our attention. You know, let's say, you know, Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, you know, even online platforms like, let's say, Netflix or Disney Plus. You know, it's, oh yeah, I've got to watch this show. Everything's wanting our attention, right? So a lot of the times we are, you know, bombarded with lots of stimulus, and that has an element of fatigue that comes with that. Okay, so it's a great time now to consider our expectations of us being humans and what we expect of ourselves over the next, you know, 6 to 12 weeks or within our fitness journey. Okay, now in the challenge, on the M Challenge app, you can scale your nutrition. Okay, so you can scale your nutrition about how strong you want to be with your diet in terms of weight gain or weight loss. That means that if you want to go through like a rapid weight loss, you can. Or if you want to go through like a steady weight loss, you can. Now, more often than not, many of us go straight to rapid. We want to go to the most extreme version because we have this expectation that, oh, I want to lose as much weight as possible. Maybe because it's a competition. I get that. I respect that. But at the same time, we go, okay, that comes with its own consequences that we need to be aware of, right? So if you are going to go down this extreme pathway and you have the expectation that, oh, I'm going to go in the most significant energy deficit where I normally require, 2,000 units of energy, 2,000 calories, but I'm going to have 1,500, 1,500 calories or units of energy. I'm going to make this really big deficit so that I lose a lot of weight really quickly because, whatever reason I'm currently overweight. I'm not happy with that. I want to lose, 20 kilos. I'm gonna do it, right? But what happens is when we are in this energy restriction, we get tired. When we get tired, factor in all the other life things that goes on, we then, start to become a little bit, quote, lazy. We're more likely to sit on the couch. I don't want to train. I'm just tired. I just want to sleep in. I don't want to do the things that I used to enjoy, like, reading books or playing with my kids and those types of things. Then it can start to interfere with your work. You're just tired, you're sleepy, you're lethargic, and it has this ripple effect. And what ends up happening is you may have a binge eating episode where you want to eat a whole tub of ice cream or have, 3 serves at dinner, or you say, screw this diet thing. I'm just going to eat whatever I want. And then you're back at square one. So we start there and we go, well, what are my expectations? Would I be better if I just chose to do like a very slight energy deficit, make it really easy for myself, see some progress, not perfection, right? Progress, not perfection. Just like Maddie tells us in our community highlights, where we start to see some weight loss and we steady ourselves there, right? Following on with nutrition, we could talk about, strict diets, where often individuals would start a diet and they go, oh, that's it. I'm going to cut out all the junk food. I'm going to cut out all these foods that I deem as unhealthy or bad for me or whatever it is. And some of them, of course, are foods that you could categorize as not as healthy as others. But often there's, no good or bad foods in dieting when it comes to weight loss. So when we remove all these foods, we remove all the joy that comes from our lives. And a common one is where people choose, for whatever reason, to cut out carbohydrates, thinking that that's the reason why they're overweight, which is just a load of nonsense. So they'll cut out these foods, which are often the tasty foods, the foods that we really love to enjoy in human life. And then we end up just being sad and miserable and hating ourselves because we just can't eat a sandwich, right? How easy is a sandwich for lunchtime? Just have a sandwich. But if we just completely remove all those foods, we remove, what little joy we have in our lives when we already have all these inputs and stresses already on us, right? And the final thing to consider is, let's say, training and your commitment to training as a whole. And training is multifactorial. One, of course, being in the gym. How are you going to actually get to the gym? What is your training commitment? Do you want to go and train every single day like some people choose to? But, going to the gym every single day has a time commitment. You're there for half an hour to an hour. You've got to travel there. You've got to travel home, all those things. That on top of all the other things, like, can you be consistent to that for potentially the rest of your life on the fitness journey? Versus, okay, what if you say, I'm going to train twice a week for 30 minutes? That's my starting point. I'm going to build myself up from there, having realistic expectations. Then the other side of training is just our physical activity, like our step count. So for some of us, we work in sedentary jobs where we struggle to get 4,000 or 5,000 steps a day in total. So if you are really stressed and you've got lots going on and you're a self-proclaimed busy person, how are you going to find time to do all those things? Going and getting your steps up, going to the gym, and then how are you going to manage that in with your approach to a diet and then, restricting foods and all these things. So just a time to think about it. And the best time to think about it is now for the future of your fitness journey, let that be with the challenge, not with the challenge, whatever you choose to do. And considering what is actually realistic to your own environment. Okay. And, just thinking about a reflection on myself as my life changes from, a few years ago when it was just Coach Steve doing his thing, training and happy days. I can wake up whenever I want, no dramas. That was a time when I probably had my best physique. I was as strong as I could ever be. And, things were just easy. Now it's becoming more challenging. Now that I am more of an adult and I've got kids and responsibilities and work commitments and all these things, now it's more challenging to get to the gym and train. Now it's more challenging to follow a strict diet and all these things. So I need to scale my expectations accordingly so that I still actually do the damn thing, that I don't throw my arms up in the air being like, it's just too difficult right now. I'm not going to train. I'm not going to follow my diet. And that's when we face problems. So scale your expectations accordingly. Think about them being realistic, especially if you have lots of things already on your plate.
Yeah, absolutely. And realistic is what we need to be. And it's all about, like, I think the theme of this whole thing is you don't have to be perfect. And expectations around everything in life are really what let us down. So, it can be expectations around friendships, expectations around what an app can actually do for you, all sorts of stuff. If you if you remove expectations and just go with what there is and use what you've got, I think that you'll find that you'll be quite successful, because your expectation of success will also change.
No, so good.
So deep.
Nick, let's move on to our final segment here. We have our question and answer, where we answer questions from the community. Nick, the first question here comes from Geoff, and Geoff writes, or Jeff, Geoff. He writes, Geoff, Jeff with a G. He writes, are the recipes broken down into protein, energy, fruit and veg, or do we have to guess? So Nick, sounds like Geoff wants to maybe transfer some recipes over into his meal plan or something similar. What advice would you give to Jeff?
Well, they are broken down into your different macronutrients and also total calorie and calories per serve as well. So it states how many serving sizes the recipe makes, and then it does do a breakdown for you. Also, just in case you mean recipes in terms of actual meal plan, we also have that broken down as well. So within our, we have a meal summary within our actual nutrition plan as well. So you will not have to guess anything. There's nothing to guess other than guessing which recipe you like to eat the best.
No, I love that. Yeah. And I think just to add on to that, probably the easiest way would be to review how many calories are in the meal on your nutrition plan, right? So let's say lunch is 500 calories. All you would need to do is find a recipe, let that be a recipe in the app, a recipe you find online, or a recipe in your Nonna's cookbook on the shelf. Just find a recipe and you can just calculate how many calories are in that recipe and then just substitute it into your plan. You don't need to swap out every food item and scale the recipe with those food groups. You can just simply look at the calories on your nutrition plan, look at the calories in the recipe, and just follow the recipe, and because it matches the calories, right? That's probably the easiest way to do it.
I agree. Very good.
Nick, next question here comes from Mark, and Mark writes, hey guys, I've been unwell for the past week and have been unable to complete workouts, and nutrition went out the window. I started at 101.5, so 101.5 kilos, and was down to 90.5 kilos. So he's lost just over 10 kilos. But since falling ill, I've gained 2.5 kilos. Do you think the weight increase could be fluid storage? Okay. The short answer is, yeah, it could be. Acute or very rapid changes in body weight, and that acute phase could be, a whole week or 2 weeks. So acute changes in body weight are primarily due to changes in water retention or fluid retention, like you've suggested, Mark, or gut residue. Okay. So, you said that, you've been unable to complete workouts for the past week and your nutrition went out the window, whatever that means to you. So there's a high chance you've been consuming more foods than normal. There's a high chance that you've been consuming more carbohydrate than normally. And there's a high chance that you are storing a lot more fluid in terms of things like muscle glycogen, storing more fluid there. If you are unwell, you probably have an element of inflammation happening in your body, so you're probably storing more fluid there. Maybe you are following, medical advice such as, stay hydrated, drink plenty of fluids, and you're sipping away, drinking lots, right? And then, it could be short-term changes in gut residue, meaning that you might have just eaten a meal. So when you go and weigh yourself, if you factor in all these variables, that you've just eaten some food, maybe you've got some other food still in your digestive system, maybe you've just drunken a leptin tea or something like that, along with being slightly less active as you were, changing the way that you are digesting foods and processing fluids in your body, there's a high chance that acute change of 2.5 kilos could simply be down to fluid storage. It's highly, highly, highly unlikely that it's 2.5 kilos of body fat. So about 1 kilo of body fat is, around 9,000 calories, depending on who you speak to. And, 2.5 kilos would be on the realm of like 20,000 calories worth of body fat. So unless in a whole week you have overconsumed something like 20,000 calories, and just in perspective, across 7 days, 20,000, close to 21, let's say 3,000 calories per day. If you have been consuming in excess of 3,000 calories per day, maybe you've gained 2.5 kilos in a week. However, many of us consuming 3,000 calories per day is just like a maintenance. For many of us, 3,000 calories is like a heavy surplus. Okay, so for me, 3,000 calories would be around my maintenance. Nick, I'm going to take a stab and say 3,000 calories would be an extreme energy surplus for you, which would be difficult to consume that amount of food. So if you, Mark, have been consuming your maintenance calories and then 3,000 calories for an entire week, that sounds a little bit challenging to do. However, I can't confirm or deny
especially
that.
when you're sick, like
when
as well.
sick,
I don't know, like if you'd have the time or inclination to go and get all that food and everything. So I don't think.
No. So it's more likely to be fluid, but it's just another thing on the table there. Or just another way to think about it is if you see rapid changes in your own scale weight, let's say you wake up, you're 2 kilos heavier, you can run the math in your head, for argument's sake, it's about, 8,000-9,000 calories per kilo of body fat. Okay, if I gain 2 kilos overnight, did I consume 20,000 calories in excess yesterday? Probably not. That extra weight is not body fat. It's another reason, such as fluid or gut retention.
Yeah, definitely.
Nick, next question here comes from Adam. Adam writes, "Hey coaches, just ending this challenge. I've put on a stack of muscle and lost 16 kilos. I'm up to maintenance and would like to continue muscle growth. My question is, what training program should I do? I was doing M+ advanced this challenge. Do I stick to this and go back to sessions 1 and 2 or choose a different training program?" So Nick, it sounds like Adam's got a few things going on. He's putting muscle, losing weight, he's on maintenance, but he wants to continue muscle growth. What training program should he do?
Well, firstly, I just want to say well done. I would say you've actually lost enough to reveal whatever muscle you have got, and it's probably awesome and it probably looks amazing. Next step would be to build some muscle. So I would suggest, just, you didn't really ask this, but in terms of your nutrition, I'd probably go into a slight surplus, because even though we can do things at maintenance if we're brand new to training, it's just not optimal. If you've got the opportunity to go into a surplus, I'd be feeding those muscles and training hard. So that brings us to the training. So we want to just pick something that you're going to firstly adhere to and enjoy, because that means that you're going to be able to progress and with the weights and things. So there's no point in picking something where you hate every single exercise, although we do have the facility to swap around. So you want to pick something, if you need to change, you want to pick something that you're going to enjoy, and maybe something that's fairly similar to what you've been doing, because it's been working for you. So as a coach, and I'm sure you're the same, Steve, one of the key things is always to, if someone's saying things are working for me, why would you say definitely change it all up? It's like, let's see what else you can do with this, especially now if your variable is going to be that you may be eating a few more calories. That's all you need to change. I'd be keeping everything else. fairly similar. You know, you could maybe change it up, you know, a slightly different structure, different rep ranges, things like that. But other than that, I would really just keep everything the way that is working for you. So I wish that I had a magical answer, and it's like, oh, you've reached the unicorn bridge now where we change everything and everything happens even better. But it's like, nah, the secret is to keep it the same.
Yeah.
No unicorn.
Yeah, I agree. Like when you found something that works, you know, keep on going.
Yeah.
I do think that there is like that element of maybe staleness that can creep up. You know, if you've been doing the same thing for X amount of time, you know, you want a little bit of change. You know, Adam mentioned that he's doing the M Plus Advanced, and should he stick to that or not? You know, it would be wise to repeat it because you know what it is. Like there's enough variety within that program that it changes through each phase of the challenge, so you know exactly what you're going to do, and it could be a great time to compare. So in that first phase, when you're doing the first lot of training programs, you could directly compare your experience the first time to the second time, and you can make the comparison of, you know, is it easier this time? Am I improving? Am I heavier in my weights? Am I getting more reps out? Am I feeling more of a pump? All these good markers of progress. Then if you, in contrast, decided to change the training program, you know, you could follow a similar program like the M Physique program, which is a very similar design. But because it is different, you wouldn't be able to compare it. You don't have the benchmark, okay? And for example, within like powerlifting, you know, we have our three main lifts: the squat, the bench, the deadlift. If I was doing other exercises, let's say an overhead press, in between my bench press, how do I know that I'm getting better at my bench press if I'm not testing my bench press, right? If I'm not doing a similar workout, how do I know that I'm getting better at that? So it kind of comes back to some consistency in training. And long term, we often kind of like in a bigger picture, kind of like the seasons in a year, we kind of cycle back to similar workouts so that we can retest those workouts and retest those exercises.
Yeah, 100%. I'm just a huge fan of retesting.
Oh, yeah.
Love it. Yeah.
Nick, final question here comes from Anthony, and Anthony writes, do you guys take creatine pre-workout and post-workout, or only pre? Okay. So Anthony, let's do a speed run of creatine. The main takeaway is that you can consume creatine at any time of the day. It's not time sensitive. Okay, the way creatine works is it saturates into your muscle tissue to help with the recycling of ATP. Now, ATP is kind of like a currency, you know, like the Australian dollar. It's like a currency in your body, and when you make a muscle movement, you know, you bend your elbow, you move your head, you move your mouth, me talking right now, it takes a certain element of money, currency, you know, transaction to do that. So what the muscle does is it requires some ATP and goes, thank you, ka-ching, and it's just purchased contraction. That's ATP. And then what happens with the ATP is that we can recycle some and we lose a portion of it through the system that it breaks down. And that is kind of like, Nick, it's kind of like taxes, okay? So, you know, you get paid, you pay tax on it, you spend your money, you pay a tax on that purchase, and you get taxed. So sure, the money is kind of going through the economy, through the system, it's being recycled, but there's an element that gets lost in the taxes. Now, when you saturate with creatine, what it does is it helps to recycle the excess, or recycle the taxes back into the system. So it's kind of like turning your muscle contraction from you know, for all my capitalists out there, from like, you know, your residential house into like an investment property, and all like the expenses that you have, you're now recycling that back as like a tax return. Okay, so the way that creatine works is it helps to recycle ATP once it's been used as ADP back into the system so that we can reuse that compound as a form of contraction transaction to make a muscle contract. Okay, so it doesn't matter necessarily when you take the actual creatine. It's kind of like, you know, work. It doesn't matter when you're working, as long as you're getting that income. So it doesn't matter if you're working 9 to 5, if you're doing mornings, evenings, weekends, whatever it is, as long as we're getting that creatine into the system. People often take it, around our workouts simply for habitual reasons. So for me, I often take a creatine with a pre-workout. One, because creatine has a interesting taste. So when you mix it with a pre-workout that has a very strong taste, you don't taste the creatine. And then two, I just remember to take it. So if I'm going to go and train, I'm going to take my pre-workout. All right, my creatine tub is right next to that. I take it, it's in a shake, I'm going to drink it. So if I behaviorally choose to have a creatine at a different time throughout the day, I might not remember to take it because I'm human, right? Others would choose to have it post-workout, mix it in with protein, or in an evening shake, like if you're taking anabolic night or Maxine's nighttime protein, mixing it in with there. Okay, so it doesn't matter necessarily when you take it, but it might be beneficial to take it with another product. And just the maintenance dose, you want to be taking it, I would say daily, if not on most days, about 5 grams of creatine. And simple creatine monohydrate is completely acceptable. Most research, most effective creatine monohydrate, you don't need to buy any fancy creatine other than that. And again, just on most days, so that you can maintain the saturation levels in your muscles.
Perfect.
Nick, let's wrap it up there for this episode number 85 of the Challenge Weekly Show, episode number 85. If you enjoyed this episode, let us know, and we'll catch you next week for episode number 86.
Thank you, everybody.
Thanks for tuning in, guys. If you like the show, share it with a friend.
Or leave us a review on iTunes to spread the good word. See you next time.